Alright, guys, today we're gonna be reacting to why Germany is so rich. Why Germany is so rich? That is a good question, and there's a lot of hypotheses and a lot of half truth about it. But this video seems like it's gonna explain a lot of those details, so we're just gonna jump in and enlighten ourselves. Let's see.
It's gotten me obsessed with this idea. How did Germany go from being the sick man of Europe to the largest economy in Europe in just a decade? Here's what I want to know. Why is Germany so rich? Let's look at Germany. But wait, stop. Germany is not just Europe's largest economy, it is one of the largest in the entire world. Only the US, China and Japan have greater output than Germany, and Germany is the world's third largest exporter. According to Europe's Economic Hub, Germany accounts for 21% of Europe's GDP with only 16% of its population. In fact, Norman Walter, the former chief economist of Deutsche Bank, stated in 2012,
"We Germans have 1% of the labor force of the world, and we have 10% of the exports of the world." That gives you an idea how successful and how oriented towards international markets we are.
Granted, this figure has decreased since the heyday of 2016, but Germany is still the world's third largest exporter behind the US and China. So how does Germany manage to achieve these results? After all, it's hardly a fair comparison given that the US and China are both vastly bigger in terms of landmass and population size. Well, to answer this, we need to look into the mechanics of Germany's economy. Now, for Germany to export so much, it obviously needs to produce and manufacture
I was
products.
told that, right?
I'm sure
Germany's it's like the side of Wisconsin. It's like the side of Wisconsin. However, it's like they're a strong economy. Do you imagine the United States having each state of the union to be as equal as Germany? I might be drinking a little bit here. Let's just continue.
I'm sure you knew this already, but what's different about Germany is the process and how this is carried out. I'm sure you know that Germany has a lot of highly successful companies which have become household names, such as BMW, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, Allianz and Daimler. But really, this is just the tip of the iceberg. 99% of companies belong to the Mittelstand. So what is the Mittelstand? This is a very important term, so please stay focused for the next couple of minutes. The Mittelstand has really caused a lot of confusion because there is no literal English translation for this term. It's often translated into small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs. This meaning companies with 500 employees or less. Unfortunately, this definition is actually just really not accurate, as much larger companies, for example, Robert Bosch, also consider themselves as belonging to the Mittelstand. In fact, Ludwig Erhard, the economics minister who was heralded as crafting Germany's post-war economic miracle, warned against reducing the Mittelstand to just a quantitative definition, but instead emphasized more qualitative characteristics, as it is much more of an ethos and a fundamental disposition of how one acts and behaves in society.
Man,
so this is the real Jew.
You just said a bunch of words that I didn't even want to comprehend, man. You have to keep it simple, bro. Like, you said a lot of things from a book. I understand. If you're gonna see things for the book, I understand, but keep it simple, because I just got lost for a second there, man.
The German Mittelstand is unique, not necessarily because it produces so much, but because of the way the companies and the staff interact with society at large. Okay, so what exactly does this mean? We need to dig a little bit deeper into really the company ethos and structure of these Mittelstand companies. The Mittelstand are typically small, highly specialized and media-shy companies. This is why most of us has never heard of any of these so-called hidden champions. The typical Mittelstand company is located in a small town or village, like Tauber-Bischofsheim, where Trepel, the airport equipment manufacturer, is from, or Stockdorf, where Webesto is from, maybe even Neutraubling or Hasewinkel. And don't worry if you've never heard of any of these places, I hadn't either. The important thing to remember is that a lot of Germany's very highly successful and highly specialized companies are not located in urban centers, but rather
Yeah,
in
but
very small towns.
I don't know. I don't know, folks. I like the video. I love the topic, but he's just so long-winded. He's not getting to the conclusion of the statement. What is the middle stand? He hasn't. He hasn't.
Or villages with populations of less than 5,000. So why exactly is this important? Well, generally, the smaller the company, the closer the relationships. In some instances,
Small
the
government.
owners or the managers of the company are actually born in the same town as the majority of the staff, leading to really close and intimate relationships. Many are heavily involved in the communities, being
Good.
board members on clubs or societies within their town or village. Another hallmark of the German Mittelstand is to make rather than buy, prioritizing quality over scale and cost. Given that relationships are
something-
such a
That's something that we as Americans, we had to embrace. We bought so much stuff from China, it's just repulsive.
fundamental, it's no surprise that employee turnover is very low. And in Germany, there is often new talent coming in through the vocational apprenticeship program. Now, when it comes to education, it is often cited as being one of the reasons as to why Germany is so successful. It empowers students to earn while they learn. Starting at around 500 euros a month, they are learning very practical skills in the marketplace in industries with very clear career paths.
Good point.
And on top of this, they're getting paid for it. Compare this with the UK or the US model, where students get into serious debt to learn things which do not always have a clear career path and arguably also have little real value in the marketplace. In fact, the mindset around education and finance or funding is fundamentally different in Germany compared to many other countries throughout the world, which leads me on to my next point: debt. Now, Germany has very low private debt, and in general, it's safe to say that Germans are rather uncomfortable getting into debt. Now, of course, there are economic factors for this. One of the main reasons is the actual term itself. So the word for debt in German is Schuld or Schulden, which is exactly the same word for guilt or guilty. And given Germany's difficult past, this word carries a
So that word just carry over to the other word. So therefore, in a weird way, has worked in their favor, basically. In a weird way, it transformed into a powerhouse.
a lot of negative connotations with it, not least of all the term collective guilt or kollektive Schuld, which was coined by the Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung in 1945. Now, the past aside, Germans are really just sensible. They live within their means and they only really buy what they can actually afford. Now, this might seem like common sense to a lot of you, but if you compare this to countries like the US, the UK, and Australia, it's actually a very different approach. Government spending in Germany is also reflected of this. In 2021, the German government national debt was 2.48 trillion euros, or 69% of GDP. Wait, what? $2.48 trillion of debt? Yes, you heard that right. And yes, you're also right when you think that's a lot of money. It is a scary amount of debt. However, let's just put this into context. The UK's national debt was 102% of GDP. France was 112%. The US, a whopping $30 trillion of debt, or 130% of GDP. And Italy was even 150% of the country's total GDP. This is seriously troubling. Okay, so let's just recap real quick.
Conservative, very conservative. I think Austria is the next country, right? Very conservative when it comes down to spending. Very good, great job.
Germany has very strong manufacturing and exports, and they focus on quality. Those relationship ties within small companies lead to high productivity. A real focus on practical education is really key in sustaining the current economic climate, and a cultural mentality of living within your means and contributing to society in a positive way. All of these things contribute to keeping the national debt down and to growing Germany's wealth. However, there is one thing that we have not yet discussed, and that is the euro. According to a report by the Center for European Policy, Germany gained almost 1.9 trillion euros, or 2.1 trillion US dollars, between 1999 and 2017 as a result of the introduction of the euro. That sounds like an absurd amount of money to me. Although the researchers did apply a rigorous framework in this study, they did admit that a lack of reliable empirical data made the analysis difficult. And let's be honest, it is very difficult to attribute wealth to just one factor given the complexity of this topic. So the amount of 1.9 trillion euros may not be accurate. However, it's safe to say that many economists agree that Germany did benefit from the introduction of the euro. The main reason for this was through the devaluation of its own currency. One of the main reasons that many countries saw a drop in prosperity was international competitiveness. Before the euro, countries like Italy and France were able to devalue their currencies to make exports cheaper on the world market. As the Deutschmark was almost double the value of the euro at the time of introduction, the switch provided a boost for German exports, which became cheaper to overseas consumers as a result. Germany is a founding member of...
So they basically took advantage of it. That's smart. China does it all the time. China does it all the time. I'm not saying it's okay. But it happens to come with the package.
The EU and also home to the European Central Bank, making it one of the most important members of this economic and political alliance. And it is seen by most of the world as the leading nation within the European Union. However, some would criticize Germany's lack of innovation and reluctance to jump into the tech boom of the 90s. Many worry that Germany is not innovating as the world invests more and more into digital products and the internet. On the other hand, some would argue that it was exactly this hyper-focus and refusal to be distracted by the next big thing which was a major factor in Germany's success and still is to this day. Needless to say, this did not happen overnight. Germany first became Europe's largest economy in 1900. Where it had already made big gains into the steel production industry and the production of chemicals.
Beautiful country.
So I do hope you now have a better understanding of why Germany is so rich. Time will tell if Germany can maintain its position on the world stage.
Hopefully.
A lot will depend on the new generation and individuals in power.
Hopefully, we're all on the same page, man. We're all on the same page. Germany, you guys are not alone. We are in the same situation here in the United States. Hopefully, we can keep our wealth, our standard of living, make it easier for our next generations. But yeah, there's a lot of... I would like to just get more into the psyche of the German people. The way of thinking of the German people and learn from that, right? Because I know each culture, all Japan, South Korea, Austria, Switzerland, Italians, all these great countries. They have some particular way of seeing things that you can just apply to yourself and make yourself a better person, right? So watching this video, I have learned so much, and as an individual, I have grown as well into a position where I can say, you know what? I feel different. I feel different, definitely. Well, let me know what you guys think, like always. What do you think about this video? What do you think about Germany, taking some advantage of that $1.9 trillion from the European Union? I would like to hear your opinions on that. In the meantime, guys, I will see you in the next one.